Everyone, Studio here. In this video, I'm bringing you an updated version of my T16 build for farming creative keys from T16 Rift. Now, this build is just absolutely ridiculous. It can farm up to 160 keys per hour and reach movement speeds like 650% movement speed. So you basically become the Flash and can just blast through every rift. It's actually so quick that you can actually do some rift in like 20 to 30 seconds. Now, this version here does require a bit of gear and a decent amount of paragon, since we have basically removed as much damage as possible to then gain a ton of movement speed. So if you're just starting out or you just started playing Demon Hunter now and you're kind of low paragon, I would actually recommend playing my other version of the build, which is more beginner friendly. But you don't have to be anywhere near my paragon to be able to play this version, as it's so strong anyway. So playstyle wise, it is very simple. All you want to do is just spam all your cooldowns to get movement speed, and then of course keep a decent amount of Hungering Arrow stack. I'll say keep about 17 to 18 and you should be good. Now, one of the reasons for this build now being so strong and quick is season 25 is the season theme. So if we look here, I have an Essence of Anguish. You get a ton of movement speed and cooler reduction. And when you kill an enemy, you deal the damage stunned by the death blow to all enemies within 25 yards. So basically, as our Hungering Arrow is flying around and one-shotting all the mobs, this blow up effect will just continue to just blow up the entire screen, killing everything inside. So basically, by strafing around, you'll actually clear the entire screen without even trying. And on this, you of course want some cold damage, and make sure you get a decent high crit damage, a damage roll, and elite damage roll. For the helmet, we're using a Shard of Hatred. So basically, you deal 15% reduced damage while you have 3 or fewer enemies within 25 yards. But if more than 3 enemies are in the same distance, you deal 5% increased damage per enemy to a max of 50%. But the line we're mostly after is your movement speed is increased by 50%. For each enemy in 25 yards, reduce your movement speed by 10% up to 70. So basically, once you finally just spin on it, you will get reduced movement speed, but increased damage. But this is fine since we just want to kill it anyway. And then once we're moving further away, we'll just gain the 50% movement speed throughout the entire rift. And of course, try and get some dexterity on this one as well. Now for the rest of the gear, let's look at the Yanks to curve our weapon. Make sure you get poison damage here, otherwise you won't proc your Essence of Anguish, which you have in your soul shard. Besides that, get some percent damage, some cooldown reduction. For the wings, we're using Rach's Ring of Larceny for an insane amount of movement speed. Make sure you have high values in your secondaries, so both the percent chance to fear and hit, but also the increased movement speed for 4 seconds. And for the other wing, we're using average band so we can pick up globes and gold a lot easier. On gloves, you want dexterity, crit, and then attack speed or cooldown. For the shoulders, dexterity, vitality, cooldown, all resistance or area damage. For the helmet, just get dexterity, vitality, crit. For the chest, dexterity, vitality, all resistance. For the belt, you mostly want to look at dexterity and then Hungering Arrow and then the highest secondary. I would say anything above 192 is pretty bad. For the pants, dexterity, vitality, Hungering Arrow. For the boots, dexterity, vitality, all resistance, and armor. For the amulet, we're using Squirt's Amulet for a massive damage increase. On this, you want cold damage and crit. For the braces, we're using the Wassessian Arm Guards for a ton of movement speed. And on this, you want cold damage, crit chance, and dexterity. And of course, for the quiver, you want the 9 series satchel. This is going to be very difficult to find with a high secondary, but basically, you want to get a high secondary as close to 600 as possible. And then you want something like cooldown, attack speed, crit chance, and Hungering Arrow damage. I still haven't found a quiver like this with really good stats yet, so let's hope we can find one, shall we? For legendary gems, we're using Wreath of Lightning for more movement speed. We're using Boon of the Hoarder for awesome movement speed, but also to pick up gold, so we can then empower our rifts more. And then for the last one, we're using Simplicity Strength. This is our only damage gem, but I guess you could also swap this out later in the season if you get a really high amount of paragon and really good gear to get even more movement speed. For the cube on the rim slot, we're using Echoing Fury for more movement speed. We have Gold Wrap in our armor slot for just insane amount of toughness, so basically we become immortal as soon as we pick up a little bit of gold. And then Ring of Royal Grandeur to allow us to have all these items equipped. For spells, Vintage Dark Card for toughness. Of course, using Strafe with Drifting Shadow for even more movement speed. Then we also have Shadow Power, Shadow Glide. Click this maybe every 4 to 5 seconds. And we also have Prep with Focused Mind to get more discipline back. We have Hungering Arrow, Devouring Arrow. This is the only rune that actually does any damage, so this is really good. And the last spell is of course Smoke Screen with Displacement for a massive movement speed increase. Just spam this and you should be good. For passives, we are running Tactical Advantage for more movement speed. I'm running Awareness because I'm a hardcore, but we could easily swap this out to whatever passive you like. We're using Blood Vengeance to gain back hatred and discipline when you pick up globes. This also counts for progress orbs, so we gain a ton of discipline back, which allows us for even more spam of our movement speed skills. And for last passive, Hot Pursuit for more movement speed. And for the follower, I'm using the Enchantress, but doesn't really matter that much which one you pick. But basically, all you want to do is make sure you have Flavor of Time and Nemesis Braces to really maximum your benefit from the pylons. And then of course, an Oculus Ring, Ring of Red Gunter, and then Canes is really nice for the extra keys. And if you really want to, you can also use your sage, so you also get double death breath. If you like this guide, make sure to check out 1 or 2 videos on the screen now, as there's some of the best builds and guides for season 25. And also a like on this video is greatly appreciated. But make sure to check out 1 or 2 videos on the screen now, and I'll see you in one of those videos. Peace out, everybody.